Hey everybody, welcome back to Gooseberry Homestead. So let's take a look at some of the plants on this side of the yard today and see how things are progressing. Spring it's here, you guys. So let's see. We've got the raspberries all over on this side. I believe this is the ones that are supposed to have orange raspberries. Not all of them have come back, but this one is alive. There's some green right on the tips here. And I'm watching these other two small branches to see what comes back. And as a rule with pruning, just like you do with your trees, anything dead, dying, or diseased, cut it out, you guys. So yeah, this one is the double gold. So far, I'm not seeing any signs of life. I think the snow may have completely killed it, you guys. So we'll just keep an eye on that, see if anything comes back from the roots. Here is another blueberry, another one of my raspberries. So this whole section right here is my raspberries. This one is the Cascade raspberry. I haven't had the fruit off of this one. It was a tiny plant last year. I got it for $2 at the Rain Tree as a second. So that's how that one's looking. The Tulamine so far has been my favorite raspberry right here. And it's leafed out. Now this was cultivated up in Canada and it does better in colder regions. As you can tell, it is it has a lot more green growth on it, and so and the flavor is phenomenal on the Tulamine. So for me, I think it's an excellent one to grow in your garden, especially in the Pacific Northwest. But I've also heard really good things about the Cascade Delight raspberry, and so that's probably another one that would be good. So I can't wait to hopefully get some berries on this one this year. And I love the double gold too. It would do a fall crop and a spring crop as well. But here the fall crop would never get to fruition. It gets too cold too quick here. So I didn't have a full harvest in the fall, but I did in the spring. So that was good. But I'm hoping against hope that it'll come back from the roots. So we will see, you guys, what happens, what occurs there. So I'm excited with all the growth that I'm seeing. And then I also have right here in the green pot right here is the other raspberries, which I believe these ones are a black raspberry, but only time will tell, you guys. So we'll be keeping an eye on them. It's definitely a raspberry though, because it has the leaves on the underside are that light color that is typical of a raspberry. So we will keep an eye on these. Hopefully we get some berries on here and here this year. And this other one, definitely going to get a few on the Tulamine. It's kind of small this year. Cut it back quite a bit last year. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. These ones here in these flats, these are some of the starts I'm selling here locally. Basically $1 per plant, nothing like crazy amount or anything like that. The rosemary I'm selling for $6 per sale section, because there's 6 cells, so it's $6 for all 6 of the plants. And so far nobody's come to buy any yet, so they'll just continue to establish themselves in these little pots, because I just really got them all potted and separated. So that's how they're looking now. Here's the gooseberries I have up for sale here locally, so we'll see how those go over. They're bushing out and getting bigger, so that's good. And but these ones had more green on them than the other ones, so I'm letting the roots get established in the other ones more. I do have 4 containers of stinging nettles for sale. Moving on, I do have some garlic right here growing, and then I have some garlic and a little bit of garlic in these 2 little parts, and I had put those in there last fall. They were off of the little pieces of garlic that were off of the part of the garlic that had the scape on it that was gonna flower out. So I collected those and put those in the ground, and they grew. So I didn't let it go to seed fully. It didn't turn into little black seeds is what I'm meaning. So yeah. So here's how my garlic is looking so far. I did lose a few of them. I think I would have done better if I had not mulched them, you guys. Okay. So lesson learned. So I have fewer garlics that survived this year than last year. This one has the music in it. And then this one here, I think, is the Bavarian purple in this pot. This pot is the Chinese pink. That one actually does pretty good here. I've been pretty surprised. So actually the stalks are pretty thick on a couple of them. So I'm looking forward to that. But I don't really care for the flavor of the Chinese pink garlic. So I don't know if I'm going to grow it again. But it does grow here pretty well. My parsley, I need to go through and weed it out and clean it up. So yeah, that's how it's looking. And then continuing on, I've got some gooseberries right back here. And they're doing good. I got some green on them. And then over here, I had some more. These gooseberries need to set better rooting systems. And I'm going to let them get a little bit bigger before I offer them for sale. And I did list them all for $5 per plant because they are so small. And I just figured it was a better price than $10 per plant. Even though a lot of the times in the box stores, they'll sell these plants for a lot more. But since mine are considerably smaller, like half the size that you get in the market right now, because of how short I had originally cut them, then yeah, so $5 a piece. Technically, I'm still making about the same amount of money as I would have if I had left the cuttings at a longer length. So if I had left them twice as big, I would be selling them for $10 per plant. Okay, so I'm still technically getting the same amount of money, even though they are a little bit shorter. I have more plants to offer to people. So there's that. So people can afford 2 plants versus just the one bigger one. So, and they grow a lot, you guys. They grow pretty quickly, generally speaking. And since these are off of my main gooseberries, and I selected the best gooseberries for myself out of my collection, I know that these will grow just as vigorously as the ones that I kept for myself. So, yeah, so there's that. So let's see how everything else is looking, guys. We've got, we see green here. This is my European cherry plum. It's looking really good. It does look like my hydrangeas that are back here possibly did survive. I'm going to keep an eye on them, and I will be planting them someplace else. I was thinking about planting them right here and letting it just kind of create like a nice bush right here. Here are the blossoms on my Goldcott apricot. So you might see these ones have pretty much spent, they're pretty much done. And then I've got some new blossoms and some more buds are forming right now. So it's continually to form and to create the blossoms for the fruit that will be developing on the tree. I've got a blossom bud right there, and it's looking really good, you guys. So I'm really excited that I may get some apricots on this tree this year. So it's our first time having this tree in our yard, and I can't wait. I love apricots. I love them dried. Let's see. Here we've got the Honeycrisp. It's a semi-dwarf. I still have the labels on them, and I did remove the stakes from the majority of the trees now because they've been in the pots for about a month now, and they're looking like they're going to be just fine. Although I had a dream last night that the wind came and knocked them all over, so let's just hope that doesn't happen because it blew that greenhouse over. Yeah. All right, so down in here we've got soapwort right there, and it's almost taking over the entire pot. It's peeking out over on this side a little bit too. And then I've got my olive herb in here too, and this is one of the apple trees that I have. I can't remember the varieties of the columars. I have, this one is called Blushing Delight. However, the apple on the Tasty Red looked more like a Blushing Delight last year. So I have to wait a little bit longer because the fruit tasted good, but it was a little bit early to take it off of the tree. So I'll be watching this year. I think I have to wait to harvest a little bit longer. So yeah, so this is how it's looking. It is starting, gonna see more and more green coming on here soon. The other one's a little bit further along. This one here, the Tasty Red, is the label, but again, I think it's been mislabeled. But we've got green leaves already, and it's opening up. So we'll have leaves within the next week or so. We'll have leafing out on the apple tree. So exciting. And then here's the apricot tree and how it's looking. Now, again, you guys, you don't want to take off so much of the tree like I've done with this one. I'm a prime example of what not to do when it comes to pruning. Some of the times I am learning and I will get better. But in here we've got I had this whole section above this part right here had completely died. There was no green cambium layer, and it was actually going to be dying. The top half of the tree was going to be dying. So the rule of thumb is remove anything dead, diseased, or dying. And so I removed the part that was dying. It hadn't gotten diseased yet, but it was dying because of my mistakes in pruning last year. So I am the one that caused this to happen. But my buds on the tree that I kept are very healthy, and they're getting big. So we've got one here and one right here, and then one right here, and then I have a bud here and here, and then there's some buds along the trunk area. So I will be having some branches coming on the tree this year, and it's taking on a whole new form. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it and watch it. And then here we have the semi-dwarf red Bartlett pear, and it's looking good. I've got my tree spacer here. I still think that I'm probably going to end up taking this branch out, you guys, but I'm not doing it this season because this season nothing is touching each other. So I'm going to wait till next winter when it's dormant to remove this branch. So yeah, that is the plan. I like the rest of the branches that I have on here. We just want to see how this is going to develop this year. And I'm not going to do any pruning on it. I've just got it pulled apart and spaced. And so, but these two branches are going to touch eventually at some point in the future. I'm going to take this branch. Unless something else grows from this side. But it looks like they cut the limb over here. So it doesn't look like I have any nodes on this side that would even it out and make it symmetrical-ish, I guess you could say. But yeah, this branch will be going. This one will stay. So there's that. I might put a spacer in here just to move the limb down just a tad, but we'll see. We'll see, you guys. All right. Now, I might even be able to trim the branch in a way up higher on here, depending on which way these branches grow. I might be able to take it back like to here and actually be able to keep this branch, or take it back to here and let this one right here, let this one grow out this direction. Then I could keep this branch. So there's possibilities rather than taking a branch completely out. So we're just going to leave it. I don't feel the urge to really do a whole lot with this tree with pruning. Now, this tree, on the other hand, is the nectarine. This is the Fantasia nectarine. And a part of me still wants to do a lot of pruning on it. And it's basically these top branches up here. These three up here in the top. And I don't know yet. Like, you guys, I'm restraining myself so much from just coming in with the clippers and pruning. What I'm thinking about doing, though, instead of just straight up pruning them, I'm thinking about doing some air pruning with it. I guess not air pruning, but air rooting, or whatever it's called. I can't remember. I have to look it up. But what I'm thinking about doing is scarring the bark in the cambium layer here, and wrapping some dirt, peat moss around, then wrapping some plastic around that, and leaving it for a few months and allow it to grow roots in that, and then cut it off where I would want to cut it off originally and create some more trees from this tree. And I've never done it before, but I've seen it done, and I think it might possibly work. If I'm going to cut these branches out anyways, why not experiment to see if I can possibly get a couple more trees out of it. And then I would have the overall goblet shape that I'm going for, with just cutting it, say, right here, and then getting the top 3 branches to be what we're wanting to keep. So we'll just have to wait and see, you guys, and see how it all works out. But I am keeping my clippers away from this tree because a part of me wants to clip it, like I said, but I'm not going to do it. So not until at least I experiment with the other part. So here is my Rainier cherry, and again, the top 3 branches are awfully close to one another, a little bit too much for my liking, but I'm leaving it alone this year. I may even try to do that with the middle branch right here, because they originally had cut it right here, and then it shot off a new central leader right here. So I think I might try to do that pruning technique like I just mentioned, where you scar up the bark area, the cambium layer, just a little bit, not too much, you guys, just a little bit, and then put the soil around, and then do the bag around that to help it, to promote it to grow roots. So I might do that with the central one to create another tree, and then cut this out right here, and that way I can have a nice clean cut, and then I begin my goblet shape. So that's a possibility. And then so other than that, everything's looking good here. And then right here is my other apricot tree, basically brother to the one that I butchered. And this one is looking good. I've got a lot of good growth on it. I suspect it's going to get pretty big this year. It got so big last year, so I'm really excited. There's no fruiting spurs on it yet. I did cut a lot of the branches off along these sections here last year, and so but new stuff is growing. I didn't cut everything off, so we're just going to watch it grow this year and try to do minimal pruning. I do want to keep it within a certain size, just so when we go to move, it's not like too huge. So but right now it's perfect, and I want it to kind of stay in this general I don't want it to get too big, is what I'm trying to say. So anyways, that's how it's looking. Let's come across over here. I'm probably not going to do a whole lot in the garden today. I might try to see if I can rototill over here a little bit more and finish this garden section up of the yard. It's not a very big section, but like I said, I think I have a bunny rabbit living under my my shed, and I need to look up and find out what fruit and vegetables bunny rabbits don't eat, and try to grow those things. So if I wanted to do carrots or the root vegetables, I'd have to grow those in a container that the rabbits can't get into, like say something like this. But right now we're working on, just figuring it out. So I'm going to look that up today and see what I should plant over here. I do have some things that are starting in the greenhouse, because I didn't lose everything the other day. I just really think God was being really good. And there's that giant rock that I moved over there. My arm hurt so bad yesterday, you guys. Like, I would move my wrist and it would pop. Like, it's not doing it today, praise God. But yeah. So anyways, my gooseberries are looking good. I'm gonna be watching them all to see if any more of them put on any fruit. I'm so excited. about these gooseberries. So yeah, pretty excited. Comfrey's coming up. I need to check here. I know that my pineapple sage is, I'm pretty sure it's not dead, but I just stuck it in here out of one of my other pots, and I need to repot it back into some of my other pots. So there's that. Then over here, my Crandall Currant's looking good. It's getting all of its leaves. And then I got more gooseberry plants here. So yeah, everything is looking pretty darn good. Let's see. Look in here. My apple tree did not get hurt in the thing flying over, so I'm happy about that, and the graft didn't get messed up. So we'll just have to watch that, see how that goes. And then it does look like this got moved a little bit. I need to put another rock in here to brace this over better, so the tree stays more straight, because right now it's leaning a little bit too much that direction. Other than that, kind of went over these items the other day with you, but they're all looking good. I got blackberries coming up in this, boysenberries, and more blackberries. So probably may or may not get any blossoms on these this year, because they did grow from seed last year, so probably next year, you guys. But the apple trees are all leafing out. We're getting leaves on those. Did do a little bit of pruning on my apple trees yesterday, just getting things a little bit more, I was just selecting some better cuts for the tops of the trees where I cut them off, because I'm looking for less central leading and more goblet shape. Especially for this region, it's better to have a goblet shape so that the air can get to everything and the sun can get to things more, because the growing season here is so much shorter that it's better for the trees to have a little bit more open goblet shape to them. So I'm definitely looking at the branches being spread out more. So less central leader, more goblet. So that's how that's looking. A little bit different for, like, say, the blueberries. I have these more of a shrub, so those are looking good. And all my other plants, these are all looking pretty darn good. Oh, look at the lilac. It's getting some really pretty leaves. Maybe I'll get flowers this year on them, not sure, but my friend gave me these and they're looking good. And all of my salads that I just planted, I got these all at the box store that are in these little green pots, bluish green. So yeah, they're doing good. It took a couple days for the shock of them being planted, but they weren't doing so great at the store either. So now that they're in the soil, a better soil, a little bit more room, and have been watered in really good, they've perked up really good. So I can't wait to start eating the kale and start eating the lettuce. And yeah, so everything's looking good. The mountain ash is coming out of dormancy too. We've got this branch, not so much, but some of the other ones have more green on them, like this one here. Oops. So they're looking good. Maybe we'll get that to focus better. There we go. Maybe we'll see some berries on it this year. So, but anyways, you guys, thanks for coming along with me on this journey of my container gardening in my backyard, and reestablishing my gooseberry herd, as I like to call it. And yeah, so you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day, and God bless. Bye.